3 things that feed black mold. Toxic black mold could be growing in your house right now without you knowing it. While visible black mold is a clear indicator that you have a toxic mold issue, what happens when the black mold is growing in places you can't see, like underneath your carpet, behind the fiberglass in your shower stall, or in parts of your home you rarely go to, like your crawl space or attic? One of the best ways to prevent the toxic mold that could be hiding in those not frequently looked at parts of your home is to know the 3 things that feed black mold. There are 3 things you can do to prevent toxic mold growth. Hi, I'm Steve Worsley. I'm a mold mitigation specialist and consultant. This channel is dedicated to teaching you what you need to know to protect the health of your home and your family from toxic mold. While mold is naturally present in the air, toxic mold and mold infestation should not be living in your home, which makes it really important to know what feeds black mold so you can make sure you're not actually feeding the toxic mold. Let me repeat that. Mold spores are naturally present. Mold infestations are not. If you take away one of the 3 major components that we're going to talk about, mold cannot remain viable and expand. Here are 3 major things that feed toxic mold. Number 1, mold spores. The first thing required for mold growth are the mold spores themselves. There are thousands of different types of mold spores floating around out there. There are some mold spores that are unique to geographic areas. There are certain mold spores that are abundant outdoors, and there are spores that are abundant indoors. If you got rid of the mold spores in a home, mold infestations wouldn't be possible. Is it realistic to remove all the mold spores in a home? Not in my opinion, but it's possible to do it with high-tech equipment. It's not realistic to remove mold spores, so that's not something I focus on. Remember what I said, mold spores are naturally present, mold infestations are not. If you've experienced visible mold growth in your home, comment below and tell us what it was and what you did to get rid of it. The second thing that mold must have to remain viable and to spread is a food source. The food source can be organic or cellulose materials. Mold needs organic or cellulose materials for its food source, which is something that is not easy to get rid of. Foods for mold are things like sheetrock, furniture, insulation, food, clothing, or anything that mold can cling to, feed off of, and grow from. The food source must be semi-porous for the mold to remain sustainable and viable for the long term. If the food source isn't semi-porous, the mold is simply a surface mold that can be removed easily and easily cleaned. Mold infestations are like your grass or trees. It's trying to root deeper into the material it's growing on. That's why mold loves sheetrock and insulation. It's very porous and easy for the mold to grow and expand in. Can you take away mold's food source? You could, but you'd have to get rid of most things in your home. You'd have to sit on a couch made of concrete. Your bed mattress would have to be metal or plastic. Just like the mold spores, it's not realistic to get rid of all the cellulose materials in your home to prevent mold growth. The third major component required for toxic mold growth is moisture or your humidity above 60%. Mold needs a water source. High humidity creates moisture. Mold needs humidity above 60%. Many of you would say, I live in Arizona or out west where it's very dry. I don't need to worry about mold. That's not true at all. We live in homes with running water that's pressurized. Those water lines leak and cause moisture intrusion events. Whenever there's a moisture intrusion event in a home, the humidity starts to go up. When the humidity gets above 60%, it creates a damp environment that's conducive to toxic mold reproducing. Toxic mold grows exponentially beginning 24 to 48 hours following a moisture intrusion event. Moisture intrusion events could be any event where too much water gets into the wrong places. For example, your basement floods. There's poor grading and drainage on the exterior of the home. Maybe your children splash in the tub every night and all that water collects underneath the bathtub or flooring. You could have a bad roof and every time it rains, water gets into the crevices of your roof and into your attic. The humidity in your home is something you can control. You can use a dehumidifier to maintain the humidity in your home. You can install exhaust fans for better ventilation. You can install vent ports on the roof or the gables. There are numerous things you can do to control the humidity. Humidity control can be achieved. Unlike removing mold spores and cellulose materials, as we talked about earlier, we can control the humidity. A great way to keep a constant check on the humidity levels in your home is to put a humidity gauge in every room of your home. If you don't want gauges in every room, it's crucial to monitor the humidity in the areas with plumbing components such as bathrooms, laundry room, crawl space, etc. You can purchase inexpensive gauges that you can check manually. You can buy more expensive gauges that are Bluetooth compatible, and you can view them from your phone. I've put some links to my top 3 humidity gauges in the comments section for this video. I'm curious to know if you currently use humidity gauges. Comment in the chat, do you use a humidity gauge in your home? And if not, after watching this video, do you plan to do so? There you have it. 3 major things that feed black mold. If you're dealing with toxic mold issues or you're not sure what to do, I have books, courses, and digital products. All of them are available on our website. You can go to our website at cnccontractorservices.com. Once again, that is cnccontractorservices.com. If this video was helpful, please give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching and have a great week.